Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Droppin Knowledge with Noah. I finally think I figured out my camera settings so it doesn't look like I'm streaming these videos from an iPhone 3, and hopefully you guys can appreciate the increase in quality. Today, we are going to be talking about the affordability crisis. So a couple of weeks ago, we went through the Cox Auto Buyer Journey study, and that was a key point of it, was prices are higher than ever. People are stretched thinner than ever. And we have to think of new ways to market and advertise and sell our cars to make sure we're, hitting our volume targets and getting people into the cars that they need and capturing market share. So we're going to dive deep, look at these numbers in more depth, and provide some key strategic advice on what you can do to weather this storm that's happening right now. So let's dive right into it. Okay, let's look at these numbers. Number one. Average new vehicle MSRP right now, $52,600, higher than ever before. Now, we're not talking about luxury vehicles. This is not a BMW 5 Series. This is not an LS 400 Lexus or, a Cadillac Escalade. This is your family SUV and truck. It's not a luxury vehicle. And it is up over $10,000 since 2020. It's really pretty crazy. And, if we look at wages, they've stayed pretty flat. So it's taking a bigger and bigger bite out of people's budgets. We look at that next stat here. The average monthly payment pulled from Experian, $767 a month. And the kicker here, 62% of buyers feel that cars are too expensive right now. They are strapped for cash. Cars are more expensive than ever. And we're kind of stuck in the middle of things. Now, the other thing that we called out in that study was the buying public splitting in two. So the majority of households buying new vehicles right now are folks making over $150K per year. And that is up 13 points in 5 years. People making under $100,000K per year, that percentage has dropped 13 points. So we're talking about this K-shaped economy, right? People at the top are doing better and better because, they've got money in the stock market. Might not be doing so hot at this very moment, but overall, since 5 years ago, they're doing pretty good. People who don't have the money to actually invest or save or anything like that, they're getting hit pretty hard right now. Now, if we really average things out for a shopper, this is where things get a little wild. So the average loan payment, right, $767 per month. Let's add in auto insurance. So $225 a month. Fuel, $183 a month. If somebody's driving 50,000 or 15,000 miles a year. The maintenance and tires, $112 a month, right? Averaged out. So that means your all-in monthly cost on average, $1,287 per month. That's $15,440 per year. If we look at somebody who's making $75K per year, which is, a little bit low on the median household income. Usually it's about $82,000 right now. But if they're making $75K, that's 20% of their gross income on one car. That's not taking into account taxes. It's not taking into account housing, groceries, all of this stuff. So you can see why people making less than $100K per year are not buying new cars. It's just crazy expensive. So there's a lot of, challenges that we need to, address to make sure that we can continue selling cars and servicing them. So let's dive a little bit deeper here. The other thing that we're seeing, if we look back 12 months ago, was that tariffs, they actually changed buyer behavior. So 1 in 3 shoppers, they pulled forward their purchase decision because they were worried about the increases in prices from these tariffs, right? So that was 34% of new vehicle buyers pulling forward, saying, I'm going to buy my car now before these tariffs come through and I have to pay more. So we also saw that 24% of all buyers, new and used, said tariffs influenced them to buy sooner. Now, right now, the tariffs haven't raised prices that much, right? So new vehicle prices on average were about 0.5% up year over year. That said, if we read the news, we see in Toyota, Ford, Chevy, Hyundai, they're all saying, hey, you know what? We can only absorb so many tariff fees before we start, reducing the feature count on our vehicles or increasing prices. So we're going to start seeing some big changes in pricing and what vehicles are actually offering for shoppers. So they might get less and have to pay more. Oh, one more thing, the hangover risk. So if 1 in 3 buyers, they bought early, think about those people left in market for the second half of 2026, right? The people who were maybe willing to wait a little bit longer on their older vehicle, all of a sudden pulled the trigger. Now they're not in market. So we got to start capturing some market or generate some new demand or make up for it in service. Now, shoppers, they are finding some workarounds. So 66% of shoppers are cross-shopping. That's a new high, right? That's because of affordability. People are saying, you know what? It's not worth it to buy a brand new car. I'm going to, buy one that's 2 or 3 years old. I'm looking at CPO, going to save some money. Maybe, I don't mind paying a little bit more in interest on that vehicle. All right, so we got to train our folks to have that conversation and be able to switch people between new and used. Also, have an understanding of what vehicles they've been looking at. So if they come in interested in a new vehicle, payment's not working out, and what vehicles they've been looking at on your lot and they've seen some used ones, you can suggest those actual vehicles, keep them in the dealership so you're not losing that opportunity. Now, the other thing too is buyers started shopping without a specific vehicle in mind. So 71% of shoppers, right? They're doing some research. Now, I'm going to tie this into something else that we're seeing too, is an increase in shoppers using AI as part of the process. So they're asking ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, hey, I'm looking for a great 3-row family SUV. Okay. And they're using them more often than ever. So this is an opportunity to optimize your marketing and your websites to be picked up by these LLMs. So providing good information on your different vehicles and how, the Highlander is a great family SUV. Also optimizing for reputation, because these tools are looking at your reputation before they're recommending you. So they may say, hey, you know what, this Ford dealership is near you, but they only score 2.5 stars on Google. So maybe you shouldn't go to them. So you got to really pay attention there. So what that means is people are doing more research online or on these AI tools, and it's directing people directly to dealerships. Now, the other thing too is we got to make sure that we can guide people to the right vehicle, the right payment. We have to listen to our shoppers and help them find that right vehicle and be more perceptive of what they're interested in. So maybe having an understanding of vehicles they've been researching online when they contact you, so you can, provide a better experience for them, or send them an offer before anyone else. Now, finally, leasing is up. Lease considerations among new vehicle buyers hit a new high. So people are very payment sensitive, and leasing is a great way to get people the payment that they're looking for. Now, if you're BMW or Mercedes, majority of your sales are going to be lease, right? What about Toyota? What about Subaru? What about Lexus, where you've got these vehicles with really high resale values that people are more likely to hold on to for longer and more likely to finance? More of your shoppers, they're getting priced out, right? So this is an opportunity to get them into a lease and get them to purchase from you rather than, a Hyundai or a Kia that offers a more competitive offer for you. So keep that in mind. So 4 takeaways, right? Lead with the payment, not the price, right? And this is something that I think most dealerships should do, is make payments transparent. So on your listings, make sure people can see your payments. On your website, make sure they can see the payment for the vehicle without having to reach out to you and get that payment or submit a lead. And make it easy for people to start their deal online, whether it's through your website, or send them a link to the digital retailing tool, however they contact you. So if they call you, you should be saying, hey, what's your email address? I'm going to send you a link to your digital deal so they can see their payment right away. If they fill out an e-price form or is this available form, respond to them with a link into the digital retailing workflow. Not only are you providing that payment up front, they can see, finance or lease options right there. We're talking about getting more people into leases. And also, they're going to complete more of those steps online before they come into the store. So you're going to be able to hold on to gross a little bit better. You're going to be able to turn them through the dealership faster, and they're going to be happier. They're going to leave a great review for you. So when those AIs are researching your dealership, they're more likely to recommend you to that next shopper. We also want to train our team on those cross-shopping conversations. They're open to new or used. So don't let them leave without giving them an alternative vehicle, whether it's new or used, right? But give them that opportunity to buy that vehicle from you. So have a switch car ready to go and use your data that you have on your shoppers to understand what they're interested in to have those vehicles ready to go. Make leasing a frontline tool, not an afterthought. So for your, your high residual, your long time value vehicles, right? Make that leasing option, front and center for those payment sensitive buyers. And then finally, plan for a softer second half of the year, right? The numbers are showing us that things are going to dive down quite a bit here. So what does that mean? We want to index on service. We want to capture those service ROs. If in my previous video, we talked about how generic repair shops are capturing more of the pie than dealerships. They're the number one place where people service vehicles. We got to capture that back because people are less likely to buy cars. So how are we going to make up that revenue? We got to get it in service. So that means a good service scheduler, quality, convenience, payment transparency. So transparency on how much those repairs are going to cost, and convenience. So that means offering that shuttle, offering pickup and delivery, offering remote service to capture back that market of shoppers who are less likely to service with you because they're worried about how much it's going to cost. And guess what? On average, it's costs less to service at the dealership than it does at your generic repair shop. And they're coming back. You're going to get opportunities to acquire that inventory from them, if you're smart, by sending appraisals through on every vehicle that comes through your service lane. Okay, we covered a lot, folks. Thank you for watching once again. Really appreciate you guys. And